And great day, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday Sip and Chat. I am your host, Marion, sister of four boy. Doing today's conversation is short and sweet. If you got your favorite drink, you got your favorite coffee, tea, mimosa, or water, whatever it is, come and grab it and let's have this conversation on today. I want us to talk about the conversation on mansplaining. Now, what is mansplaining? We've heard it before. First time I heard it was Kevin Hart's, but I'm noticing more and more that it's being sent around the world, around the internet, talking about men are being condescending and mansplaining to women. So let's talk about that today. Let's get back on groove and let's see what's going to happen here in this conversation. So today we're talking about this mansplaining. Well, what is mansplaining? Mansplaining is when a man makes an attempt to explain something to a woman, knowing that he really doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's taken the position to share. It's usually inaccurate, it's condescending, it's patronizing, but it isn't the real explanation. It's just him taking a position saying, I'm a man, so therefore I can give you this information, or you should not have this information. You don't know this information and that I have it. So my question today is that a form of manipulation, or is it just him trying to impress you, to have more time to converse with you and get you a little sweeter on his side? So that's our conversation today while we're here on the Saturday Sip and Chat. Go ahead and open up your mics if you want to post a question here in the comment groups. You can also know that I'm inviting you out, all the women. I'm inviting you out to come and check out our Inner Heal Her Reclaim Experience Retreat happening July 15th through the 17th here in Arizona. Don't worry, don't want to travel, not feeling safe? Join us online. You can do that as well. Go over to bit.ly/22 Heal Her. That's a great opportunity. We have plenty of practitioners going to be here that are going to be showing us how to better reclaim all of who we are from the feminine divine perspective. You get a copy of the latest edition of the Inner Heal Her book, as well as all the trainings, a t-shirt, our normal teacup and saucer, and you'll learn about that once you come to the retreat. But go ahead and tell a friend and bring a friend. We're waiting just for you on this retreat here in Arizona. Additionally, I want to invite those of you that are listening. I'm going to be hosting an event on June 10th. I'm going to be hosting an event called June 10th. It's going to be called Juning Up Your Tune. Juning Up Your Tune, meaning we're going to dive deep into some conversation, how we can tune ourselves up to become more in tune with ourselves as far as how we feel about things, how we want to relate back to the past traumas over at my office here in Surprise, Arizona. So save that date for June 10th, and we'll be giving you more information about that later on. So back to our conversation. We are talking about how to engage men. What does that really mean when they're mansplaining? Mansplaining to me, I think it's cute. I think that it's something that men do a lot of because they've been pushed. You know me, I'm going to go to the mind. I'm going to go to the psychological components of it. But mansplaining really comes from the position that men are believed that they're supposed to know things. They are supposed to know something. And let me whisper something in your ear. As women, we're often thinking that our men should know things too. Yeah. We feel like they should know how to change a tire. They should know how to do an oil change. They should know how to fix things. They should know how to build things. But is that unreasonable? I don't know. But this mansplaining seems to be something that has caught the trend, and it has everyone talking about it, asking, how do we deal with this? Is it being manipulative and controlling, or is it actually them trying to impress us, them trying to maintain their identity as men? As I said earlier, many of us, this country is very gender specific about things. It has been for a long time. Until recently, when we started talking about the LGBTQ, I believe I have to put there now, that was never a concern. This was for boys, this was for girls, this was for men, this was for women, and this is what they accepted and this is what they expected. So not only were there physical constraints, but there were also socialization constraints that made us think about how we're supposed to interact with our men and how men are supposed to interact with us. So if our men have developed this mansplaining as a way to maintain and increase their position as men and their position as being in hierarchy, does that create a new level of manipulation and control? Have they further bought into the system that is keeping us apart, not allowing us to grow and develop together in harmony? That's my question today, y'all. I see your comments. Thank you and welcome you. And thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Yes, I agree that this conversation is one to really think about. And that's what we want to do here on the Saturday Sip and Chat. We want to be relaxed enough to talk about the things that really matter, that help us have more harmonic exchanges in our lives. And this is one thing. So a lot of us get agitated. I know I do. When men start trying to tell me stuff and I know they don't know what they're talking about, but they feel I'm a man and I'm a man. Right? We've heard that before. So it's time for us to start thinking about how we can retrain our brain, how we can rethink the way in which we have allowed ourselves to be socialized into conversations and ideologies about our roles and expectations for each other that really don't matter. Does it really matter if our man doesn't know how to change a tire? When we have mechanics all over the place, what if you know how to change a tire? Does that take away from it? So as I was doing my research for today's conversation, I came across where a couple of memes, and there was one where this lady was pumping gas and the man was in the car. And you could see all these people on the video. They started recording saying, how could this man, you're a lazy man for sitting in the car while your woman pumped gas. You're a horrible guy for doing this. And the guy started trying to defend himself, and come to find out the guy was a paraplegic. He was in a wheelchair. He was paralyzed from the waist down. So of course, the wife was going to get out the car and pump the gas. But these are the assumptions that we make, that this woman was being taken advantage of, right? That's a far-fetched explanation of some of the deep-rooted ideologies we hold in our mind, right? Or even my man holding a door for a woman. I still like that. I think that's great. I think that makes him a gentleman. Yes, I want to be feminized in that moment when the man is opening the door for me and pulling out my chair. I don't think that should ever go away. But when it comes to talking about things that you don't know anything about, that puts us in a different category. If he's trying to explain something that he has no true understanding of, how does that make him build himself up as an individual? And why does he feel that pressure? Are we putting that pressure on him as the women? Are we putting the pressure on him as a society? Is it different for men of diverse colors and ethnicities than it is for European Americans? But I see it across the board. Personally, I have seen it across the board. When they're more condescending to women, when they're talking to them and they're making it seem like because they are a male, that conversation they're having, that perspective is the only perspective that they should have. Or that way of doing it is the only way to do it. You can unmute your mic. I'll read your comment, but you could also unmute your mic and do it. If you're watching us here live on one of our platforms, come on and join us over here on Zoom. We can get you in, and we would love to have your face in the place. This conversation today is talking about mansplaining here on the Saturday Sip and Chat. So the conversation comes and it said, she said, don't read her name. Okay, I will say your name out loud. She says, I definitely know about mansplaining. She says, my husband is from Nigeria. And every time I try to tell him the right way to do something according to how we do it here, he constantly tells me, but baby, I am a man. I know this. This is what we do. Women don't know about it. However, he doesn't understand that I had 4 brothers and a father that taught me every part of a car. So what he's saying most of the time is not correct. Or maybe it is I don't know what you're trying to say. Is it the juped or janked? Maybe you're trying to say it's a janky way. I think that's what it's supposed to say. Janky way of fixing things. So I definitely know what you mean. Wow, that is a good example, right? Of him trying to tell you, how to fix a car. That is. If he's placating, if he's trying to tell you that you wouldn't know how to fix a car because you're a woman, then definitely, yes, that is an example of mansplaining. So as we go forward today, I want to remind all of you, as I said, this is our brief session on today. We know that this is the holiday weekend here for a lot of people here all over the globe. Actually, a lot of people are celebrating this weekend. So I just want to come on and give y'all a heads up of how you doing and see how everything is going. If no one's going to open their mic, you know me, I'm not going to hold it open for long. I'm just going to keep us here and have us to consider. And men that are here, I see a couple of you, I'm inviting you to think about that. Are you explaining to be heard, or are you explaining to maintain your position? I would love to hear from you, even if it's after we go off of air today here on the Saturday Sip and Chat. Okay, let me see. It's not. Okay, you do feel pressure. Can you unmute your mic and want to come? If you want to come on, you can unmute your mic. I know this is a tricky topic. People don't like to have their voices and face on here on a topic like this, but it's simple. But this is how we break the barriers. This is how we break barriers. All right. I have a poll that I'm going to drop up, and you can answer the poll. Men and women, you guys can answer this poll, and then we're going to wrap it up for today. So basically, mansplaining is something that, to me, has been developed as a reaction to the expectations of others, the conditions that you're in. It depends on where you are, right? It's kind of like being in class. Teacher calls you on your name, you go, 4. When the answer, you're not even really sure what they're teaching. When you're not even sure what they're teaching, you're not even aware, but you feel obligated to have this conversation. You feel obligated to give an explanation on why you should be able to have this information. And I'm going to put out there that I don't think that's a fair statement, a fair assessment. As I said, we need to retrain ourselves and redevelop some new ways of communicating and letting people be able to be okay with not knowing everything and taking the time out to learn it if they want to learn it, or be able to say, I simply am not aware of how to do that. That's part of the development and maturity that comes with all of us. Getting to that stage when we can say, you know what, I am unaware of that. Or are you able to tell me more? Or can you guide me to some directions? I can probably pull it off with that. But when you're patronizing, when you are condescending, as if, as a sister said earlier, that her husband was telling her she knows nothing about cars. So why is she up under the hood, basically? The assumptions that go into that. Let's move past them. Let's open up and have more dialogue with one another on a regular basis. Men need women like women need men. And I said need. Even if you're in a same gender relationship, you still have other people in your life that you love and care for from the opposite gender. That's how that works. Everyone needs everyone. We're all interconnected. And it is not a requirement for a man to be placating and manipulating, right? To try to convince somebody that he knows information, or maybe he's assuming that you don't have the information. So he's going to take that opportunity. He takes that opportunity to talk about it. So the mansplaining ideal in conversation becomes one that people are trying to buy into, trying to communicate about. So are these men being manipulative? Now let's take that component. Are they being manipulative, or are they trying to impress when they're trying to over-explain information that is usually inaccurate or they really have no foundation for? The pressure is real sometimes in our societies for men to have conversations and present information because they are men. It's perceived that men should know how to do certain things and have information, or that men would be smarter than women. Let's go back to that. You know, that was a long time adage that people had. So let's hear from you today. As I said, we're wrapping up here on the Saturday Sip and Chat. We want to invite you to go ahead and give your final comments. Thanks for joining us here on all the platforms that are watching and participating. We're glad to see you. We're here every Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Currently Pacific and Mountain Time. So go ahead and mark your calendars for the next conversation we're going to have on next Saturday. Welcome to all who have come into the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So what are your thoughts on this? I'm seeing people typing. It's telling me people are typing on the other platforms. Again, if you want to join us on Zoom, you're welcome to do so. The link is up in the top of the caption on all platforms for you to click and join us here on Zoom and have this conversation with me. I appreciate your comments and your presence. Don't forget to go out and tell a friend, bring a friend. We're talking about mansplaining here today. The way in which men begin to do it. Let me see, can I pull up the opportunity? Hang on, I'm going to pull it up for you all. So let's share our screen, and I'm going to make sure I have it on the screen and give you the formal definition. All right, so there we go. It says mansplaining is the superlative term, meaning that a comment This is your official one. Okay, I got the official comment. The comment or explain something to a woman in a condescending, overconfident, and often inaccurate or oversimplified manner. All right, it's described as a phenomenon by the author Rebecca Soyant, who's ascribed the phenomenon to a combination of overconfidence and cluelessness. And I think we talked about that already, right? We talked about that whole idea that this mansplaining comes from my perspective. I believe it comes from some deeply embedded things, but Rebecca is saying the same thing. She's saying they're just overconfident. They're just trying to get it out there and they just want to be seen. And that's why I asked the question, is it manipulative or is it them trying to impress us as women? What's your thoughts here today on the Saturday Sip and Chat as we wind down this conversation? Go back and share the replay with other people that are going to be coming on to this program and seeing it. Let them know. Let's have conversations that challenge us. That's what this whole purpose of the Saturday Sip and Chat is to build the bridges and bring back harmony between men and women, to fortify us into a community setting that allows us to depend upon each other interdependently and grow at the same time independently. I'm just reading a comment. Oh, y'all quiet today. Nobody is coming to the stage? Wow. All right, so this last comment before we go is simply saying this. It says that mansplaining, I think, was just made up by women. Wow, okay. It was made up by women because they don't like men to tell them anything. Men do know more about certain things than women. Not saying that women don't know as much, but there are a lot of things we know that women don't. That's true. And the same can be said for women. Women, thank you for being bold and brave enough to say that, but women do. Women do also know some things that men don't know. And sometimes the assumptions, as I said earlier, the assumption is that we believe because one is a man or one is a woman that they don't know something. And it's better for us to have a conversation and ask, hey, we got a flat tire. Oh, I know how to fix it. Oh, I know how to fix it as well. And then you decide who will do it. It doesn't make you less. It doesn't make you better. It just simply means that you're taking the lead. And that's what happens when we do things in an egalitarian way. We allow the person who has the best opportunity to master that thing at that and able to master or has the mastery level of that skill, I should say, or that task should go forward and do it. And there shouldn't be any drawback from that. So mansplaining is something that when we look at, as I said earlier, it is, from my perspective, men reacting to some of the societal pressures that are put on them saying, hey, if you're a man, you should know how to do certain things. And as a man, you to know how to do this, you're the head of the house. I know in Islam, they expect, the reason why they don't really worry about going places because the man is considered to be the imam of the house. So it is his role to educate and share the religion and the practices and the skills and everything to the household. So the woman is the reinforcement of that. It doesn't mean she's not aware. It just means that in that protocol procedure, that's what they do. So when we are talking about mansplaining, I believe that it really is men reacting to the ideologies that make assumptions that because they are men, they should be able to know and handle certain information, certain tasks, and that women would be clueless. So ask the questions. My suggestions are to begin to have more conversations. Begin to have more conversations. Begin to engage in conversations that allow us to see who does have anything to offer, who can. What is this? Are you just talking to be talking, right? Because you feel that's something that has to be done. So we invite you in. Welcome to the room. Those of you that are coming on, we're about to wrap up right now our conversation today on the Saturday Sip and Chat. Take a sip of your favorite drink, bring it to the counter, bring it to the table, and let your voice be heard on some topics that really matter in bridging the gap between men and women so that we can be able to move better and more harmonic exchanges on this planet. I'm your host, Marion, sister of four, boy do, and we are sharing out today about mansplaining. As we talked about it, we've heard definitions, we've heard comments from the group. If you want to speak, if you're on Zoom, you can open up your mic and you can go ahead and speak as we're wrapping up this part of our program. Reminding everybody, if you are a woman and you're looking for a way to revitalize yourself and to restore yourself and reclaim more of your feminine divine energy, being able to let go of past trauma, fears, hurts, and drama, come on and join us July 15th to the 17th here in Arizona for our annual Inner Heal Her retreat. Heal, evolve, and reveal. That's what we do here for the retreat. If you can't make it in person, don't worry, we got you covered. You can join us virtually. Go ahead and go over to bit.ly/heal her 22, and we'll see you in the room. All right, if you're here in the microphone and you're here, you want to open your microphones. Welcome to all of you that have joined us. Feel free to come on in and open up your mic and give us a comment. I'll be reading the other comments when we get done, but we have had a great conversation, I think, on today. If you want to join in, go ahead and open up your mic. All the mics can be opened. Let me just make sure. Somebody's saying they can't get their mic, so I can unmute. If you're here on Zoom, I can unmute you. And I see we got some brothers in the house, so maybe y'all can share with us some ideas of what do you feel about this ideal of mansplaining? What does it actually mean? How does it actually affect you? Do you feel that maybe you feel that you are mansplaining a lot to women? What is your motivation behind that? These are the questions we want to ask ourselves and have conversations about, because this is what's going to bridge the gap. It shouldn't be that it's seen as a weakness because we're talking about it. But I wanted to know, because sometimes it does feel manipulative. It does. You can hear and feel the condemnation that's in the conversation. And it's going to put a wedge between the two genders when they're having conversations. Having a position as a male does not mean that you know everything. Just like it doesn't mean you know everything if you're a woman. But it also doesn't mean that you're limited in your experiences or that you're all-encompassing in your experiences. Not at all. So this phenomenon that has been happening, that I think gains its popularity from Kevin Hart's show, Kevin Hart's television show, I think this makes a difference. It's a valuable conversation to have, and we all can begin to move forward. This has been your Saturday Sip and Chat. I am your host, Marion, sister of four. Thanks for being here with us on the platforms. We appreciate you. We'll be back here on next Saturday having another great topic. Tell a friend, bring a friend, share out the video, remind yourself, go back, listen to it again, leave your 2 cents, because why? 2 cents matters. 2 cents could be the difference in us having 100% of connection. Until next time.